Welcome to our series on how government agencies are accelerating innovation with data and analytics. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and we're here today with Tarek Tomes, Commissioner and CIO for the state of Minnesota. Tarek, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Wyatt. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, let me start by asking, can you talk about a recent initiative where migrating and analyzing data in the cloud, or what's being described as a data-led migration, how that's helped generate new insights and innovation in serving your state's constituents?
Thank you for that question, Wyatt, and really thank you for prompting this important conversation. We really, in Minnesota, and I'm sure all of my peers across the country really feel that so much opportunity in public sector is connected to raising and elevating the value that data represents within each of our various states, and certainly connecting those data sets provides so much immense opportunity. I think by way of a concrete example, we in 2020, together with our Department of Health, undertook a really large initiative to create a number of data lake capabilities in the cloud related to disparate data sets that really had to deal with state public health systems and helps to inform public policy. And the information within these data sets obviously spurred on by the criticality and the crisis and the urgency of the pandemic, related to our disease surveillance system, our electronic lab reporting system, those entities that receive COVID tests, for example, and also our immunization registry, those places that report and receive information related to who has been immunized. And I think that data lake capability not only provided a secure place to house those large data sets, but it immediately gave us the much needed capacity as the exploitation and need to really gain and gather deep insights into those data sets was stretched in a manner that has never really happened before. As a result of that, the maturity that we were able to achieve and the effort, we were able to roll out tools and technologies. For example, we have a self-service digital capability where Minnesotans via a mobile app can request their immunization records without intervention, all made possible because of this initial move to using data lakes that then enabled so many further insights into data and service opportunities.
Well, and then can you talk about how has the ability to migrate and analyze data in the cloud actually helped improve decision-making internally for your organization and all those you serve in the state of Minnesota?
I think it's multifold. In Minnesota, we really embrace what we refer to as an intentional cloud approach, and it's really a multi-cloud view into bringing the best capabilities to our customers and ultimately to the services that government provides. That intentionality is about making sure that we're making strategic decisions how we can reach and exploit the information and data that we have to the fullest value. One of the examples that I think is really, really important, going back to that Department of Health example, during the pandemic, we had this unprecedented need to bring together data from healthcare providers and pharmacies across the state of Minnesota related to immunizations and who has received a COVID-19 vaccine. And so not only were we in a position where we had to make decisions based on information that came from such a large, complex group of organizations that, certainly all not within state control, but it had to happen in a timely manner, and it provided a transparent view, not just into where immunizations are happening, but also the equity of immunizations, where opportunities existed, and how are the various providers, the thousands of providers that are providing immunizations, how are they performing? In a time when we were very eager to get shots into arms within days, our ability to understand who is doing what and where and how how are we meeting people where they are was really critically important. Also, our IT financial systems. We have a system called Athena that is cloud-based that really allows us in a transparent way to understand the cost related to IT services, to share those costs transparently with our stakeholders in a real-time basis. And the cloud constructs and the cloud infrastructure that we leverage has really made that available. We now speak the same language across all of our organization, and we have such clear lines of accountability.
Well, and then how did working with a leading cloud provider and then the community of cloud partners speed up the time to value in improving constituent services?
You know, I think that's a great question. In Minnesota, we were one of the first adopters of cloud-based technologies many years ago, moving our communication and collaboration space into what has now become Office 365, probably 10, 12 years ago. And certainly that maturation related to leveraging cloud services from communication collaboration services or so-called service SaaS areas to infrastructure services to platform services is really important. One of the things, by way of analogy that I think is critically important, cloud constructs, and in particular as it relates to data, just give us this critical place to consume that is purpose-built, that is ready for us to consume with innovation where we don't have to build it. Many times, if we were to use an analogy, we can create many of the same recipes, many of the same meals that restaurants create, but the work necessary to have all the various ingredients is just so much more complex. Cloud constructs, and in particular, data and analytic constructs, give us this purpose-built place for innovation that we can leverage and exploit quickly.
That makes a lot of sense. And then lastly, how have efforts in migrating and analyzing data in the cloud changed your organization's overall cloud strategy or priorities looking ahead?
In Minnesota, I think we're pretty fortunate in the sense that it hasn't changed our strategy. One of our main strategic pillars is what we refer to as elevating our digital estate. And certainly the pandemic and the things that have happened over the last 24 months has underscored why and that goal is so importantly critical. One of the things that has happened, though, is the urgency related to how fast we move has certainly increased. We have seen so much immense value in the areas where we were able to move to cloud-based data analytics capabilities, that the line of business services that are looking to exploit similar capabilities is quite lengthy. And so while our strategy and approach hasn't changed, the timeline and the urgency certainly has increased as so much value has been realized in such a short period of time.
Well, Tarek Tomes, thank you so much for sharing some of your insights and some of the initiatives that you're working on behalf of the state of Minnesota.
Thank you, Wyatt. Really excited to always share about the work that we're doing here in Minnesota.